I spent 10 years around 8 and 9-figure business owners. I have seen them at work and I know exactly how they end up being 10 times or 100 times more productive at work than the average people. Over time, I have modeled their best practices, and I can tell you that the 4 habits that I'm going to share with you save me at the very least 20-25 hours a week. Every week. How did I end up with this number? I will tell you the precise calculation in a while. But remember, these are not tips. Tips might work today and don't work anymore tomorrow. What I'm giving you is rules. It's evergreen. It has always worked and will always work. All right? Let's jump right in the topic with the first habit that has changed my life. Because earlier in my career, I lacked some kind of discipline. And by discipline, what I mean is giving up what I desire today for what I really want tomorrow. Remember this. Discipline is more about what not to do than what to do. And remember this. Nature abhors a vacuum. As soon as you decide to get rid of your useless activities, you will replace your activities with useful ones. Listen, I always had big dreams, but my ambition was not always reflected on the daily basis reality. I was wasting a lot of time on 100% meaningless activities, such as browsing the web and watching videos, until the moment I decided to have a not to do list. This is like a to-do list, but instead of jotting down all the things that you plan to do, you write down all the activities that you plan not to do. The beauty is that, contrary to your to-do list that changes every day, you will write your not to-do list once and for all. You write it and you put it right in front of, right next to your computer, or on the wall, in front of you, somewhere on your desk, or clipped on your wall, so that you can see it all the time, or even better, somewhere next to your screen, because most of the crap that we waste our time on comes from our screen. These are the total time wasters that screw your schedule and jeopardize the realization of your dreams and goals. Keep in mind that each time you say yes to a no-value task, you say no to a very important activity. All right? Each time you say yes to something, you say no to something else. That's a universal rule. All right? So, what to put in your not to-do list? Let me tell you what's in mine, so you have a real-life example. All right? My forbidden list goes like this: checking my emails more than twice a day. I check them at around noon and in the evening before ending my working day. Browsing social media, watching YouTube videos that are not related to what I work on right now, reviewing sport results like websites like ESPN, Eurosport, Tennis TV, and so on, checking the news, reading my messages, text messages, SMS, chit chat with colleagues or family, reading magazines and newspapers, playing chess. It's great. It's a great game, but it's a game. So I don't do it during my working hours. And things like browsing my phone mindlessly, and so on. And I respect my not-to-do list as the 10 Commandments. And each time you find yourself doing something useless that's not yet on your not-to-do list, you just add it there. Okay? It's simple, really simple. Is it easy? Not for everybody. Some people really struggle with this not-to-do list rule because they had really bad habits. And the further away you are, the more it hurts when you have to come back. The longer is the way to come back, to take the right path, the productivity path. That's willpower in action. It's about taking over your entire schedule by storm. Because before knowing what needs to be done, first get rid of what needs to be avoided. All right? It's mandatory. You need a cleanup. Before putting in your brand new trendy furniture in your new home, first you clean up the space, right? So work on your not-to-do list and respect it. That's already a giant step, and maybe the hardest one for some people. Second habit to change your life and make you the most productive version of yourself that you have ever been. Maybe you have watched or heard somebody tell you that Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk divided their schedules into 5-minute slots or 7-minute slots, and that you must do the same. Forget this crap. These people, Bezos and Musk and the other ones like them, are not in our world. They are in their own world. And you know why their schedule is like that? Because at their level, they have thousands of people working for them. And all they need to do is to take strategic decisions every day, all day long, about all the possible choices the company has. Okay, one day, if you run a $1 trillion company, we'll also be able to divide your time into 5-minute slots or 5-second slots, if you please. But for now, in our world, my world, your world, let's focus on your first 8-figure or 7-figure, if you are not there yet, your 7-figure business. Okay? To get things done fast, here's the right things to do. There's one right thing to do. You must work in uninterrupted blocks of hours, especially when you are starting out. You have to devote yourself to what you are doing 100% and refrain from the rest. So what you have to do is to close the door, to put the sign "Do not disturb," to cut out all your notifications, all your alarms, no calls, no messages, and you have to devote long periods of hours to your work. That's how you get things done, by taking some time to laser focus on your work, by allowing your brain to reflect on your best opportunities and most important problems. Okay? Always remember this study that says that it takes 23 minutes for people to get back on track after a short distraction and to focus at the same degree of concentration as they were before. It's incredible. You start working on something, and after, let's say, 30 minutes of work, your mind is at its deepest degree of concentration. And then somebody knocks on your door. Your employee needs something that was not urgent and not much important. Something someone else could have helped with. A trivial interruption. Now you need 23 minutes to go back on track. And then your phone rings. Your manager needs an information. It could have waited. Again, a trivial interruption. You go back to your work. You need 23 minutes to go back on track. And then something pops up on your screen with a crappy noise, Great promo offer from whatever, Adobe. Trivial interruption. You need 23 minutes to go back on track. Again. Then a LinkedIn alert. Again, nothing urgent, not important. You need 23 minutes again and again. It never ends. This is a nightmare. Can you just imagine how many hours, how many days, months of productivity go up in smoke due to that problem every day, every week, every month, every year during the course of your life? Now your job is to stop it and to do whatever it takes to work in uninterrupted blocks of time. At least 90 minutes. Better 2 hours or 2.5 hours of not interrupted time of work. That's what we call focus. You need it. Your business needs it. That's how you grow your business. Okay? And by the way, there are billionaires that divide their schedules into 5-minute slots, okay? Because decisions have to be made all day long in such large corporations, and because these decisions are things they have chosen to not delegate. Okay? In parallel, there are other billionaires like Li Ka-shing or Ingvar Kamprad, a guy from IKEA, that have delegated almost all their big corporations' decisions. They have trained their managers to live without them, almost entirely without them. Nobody ever sees them. They live hidden like monks. So don't think that you have to divide your schedule into shorter time slots as your company grows. That's some kind of vanity to make you feel busy. Like in movies, you take one phone call, another one, someone talks to you, you answer, you shut the door, and so on. It's not real life, not the efficient real life. Just stick to the uninterrupted blocks of time method, because I prefer to make you feel wealthy than busy. All right? Then, third productivity hack. Let me ask you something to illustrate my point. Have you ever found yourself in front of a large project, such as starting advertisement or building a complex funnel or hiring employees, your first employee, but you never actually start, or you start somewhere and stop, and you feel overwhelmed because you know that's the right thing to do, but it's a big move and you just can't move forward. It's a huge task. Or maybe you move forward very slowly here and there when you feel like working on it, because this activity is important and you don't know how to handle it. Here's the explanation. Feeling overwhelmed is not the result of having many things to do, having too many things to do. Feeling overwhelmed comes from not knowing what to do next. Write this down and never feel overwhelmed again. So that's the explanation. Now, what's the solution? The solution consists in breaking down all your activities into smaller tasks, especially the most complex ones, the most important ones. It makes your work more manageable. It reduces distractions. It shows you the most difficult portions of the project and where you need help with. Okay? It helps you to set more specific goals and time frames, and ultimately to move forward until completion of the project. And most importantly, after all, it finally allows you to start working on your most important projects. Because again, sometimes you avoid working on something even if you know it's very important, because you don't know how to start, where to start. It's overwhelming. You see, again, overwhelming comes from not knowing what exactly to do next. So just break all your activities down into smaller tasks, and then you will act like a chess player. Whatever the situation is, you always know what to do next. You always know what's the next right move to do. All right? And fourth and final rule for maximum productivity at work. Before I tell you this one, I would like to know how you plan your days. Think about it for a second. Do you know exactly what you are going to work on tomorrow? By the hour. And especially, what's the very first thing that you are going to do in the morning as soon as you start working, as soon as your working day starts? I have seen too many business owners wasting half an hour and a half in the morning because the first thing that they do is a crappy activity. More or less business related, sometimes not at all, such as checking their emails, checking their social media, checking sport news, checking the news. This is a huge waste of time, and this is a horrific way to start your day. Remember that your whole day is the resonance of how your day starts. So my advice is start your day as productive as possible. How? With what I call the Terminator law. You plan your day the day before. At the end of your day, each day, you plan or you review your next day, if it's already planned, but you plan your very first thing that you will do in the morning. Okay? And I can't emphasize this enough. Plan with accuracy your very first activity, so that when you come in the office in the morning, ready, fresh and determined, you read what activity you have planned to start with and you just start. Okay? Work on this very activity. Don't do something else. No email, no social media, no sport news, no nothing. Okay? Don't worry about the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Lakers. They don't care about you anyway. All right? Sport, watching sport, is the new opium of the people, replacing religion. Don't watch sport, play sports. Don't consume social media, post on social media. Anyway, that's another topic for another time, another video. The thing to remember is each evening, once you decide which activity you will start with the next day, first thing the day after, you just show up in the morning like the Terminator and you do it. You execute. You read it, okay, that's it, do it. There's a time for reflection and there's a time for action. When you show up in the morning, it's action time. Again, you are the Terminator. You have a mission. It's working on your business. So follow your plan. You have one thing to work on. That's it. Do it. Start each and every day like that, and you will see a tremendous increase in your productivity. All right? I have given you 4 productivity rules that will speed up the completion of your projects. Let's summarize. Have a not to-do list. Work in uninterrupted blocks of hours. Break down your activities into smaller tasks. All right? And the Terminator law, plan your day the day before, especially the very first thing that you are going to work on in the morning, so that when you show up, you just work on it at speed, action time. All right? I've been applying these 4 rules for years, and I can tell you that they save me at least 25 hours a week. Look, here's the calculation. With your not to-do list, you will avoid wasting your time on social media, for example, among other things. Let's just take social media. The average American wastes more than 2 hours a day on social media. At least. Let's take 2 hours. Once you follow your not to-do list, you don't go there during your working hours. But let's say you still go there later at night. So let's just divide it by 2. You spend 1 hour a day on social media instead of 2. So you have just saved 1 hour per day. That's 5 hours per week. Okay? Then you work in uninterrupted blocks of hours. Therefore, you avoid interruptions of any kind. The average business owner is interrupted at least 10 times a day. Feel free to do your own research, by the way. After each interruption, remember that you need 23 minutes to go back on track. That's about 4 hours every day. That's 20 hours per week. That's 25 hours in total with the first rule that you save. Then you break down your activities into smaller tasks. This way you move forward in all your projects. I can't really tell you how much time you are saving with this rule, but you know that you are saving some time. And with the Terminator law, you start working on your most important thing right away. That's an immense leap in your productivity. How much time are you saving each week with the Terminator law? I will let you figure it out. But if you are saving just 5 hours with the last 2 rules, maybe 10 hours, while it's possibly much more, you are saving 35 hours a week in total with these 4 rules. And this is just a conservative estimate. Do your own research again. So, how is it possible? 35 hours saved each week? It's possible because we are talking about probabilities, large numbers, and average. The solution? Don't be average. Be radical. Apply these 4 productivity rules and you will soon, very soon, find yourself working on the most important activities, those that move the needle the most. And if you need more personal guidance, check the links below.